Chapter 28. At exactly 7 p.m., the group assembled in the study. Dore was again pushing Emilio with no one to tell her where. She just did. Moses has already instructed them to light candles instead. After they did, Moses suddenly appears at the middle of the group. "See, I told you he will come," said Dore, while running towards Moses and showering him again with kisses. They both whisper something no one heard and understand. They just see them talking. Once done with their chit-chat, Dore sat at the middle. Emilio had already prepared his rocking chair for Dore to sit, and Moses started the session. He requested everyone to be quiet and not to say anything, regardless on what they see or hear. "Ready?" asked Moses to Dore. "Yes." "What kind of movie we are going to watch?" "Is it cartoon?" asked Dore. "No, it's drama," answered Moses. "Ah, okay. I hope there won't be much sadness in it." "Emilio cried last time when he watched the movie," responded Dore innocently. Donna Leonor and Maria were already in tears. Since it is dark, no one can see them crying. Dore was so young and innocent. It is a good thing she trusted her Uncle Moses so much that she believes the trance is just a movie. As Moses started, they never expected that all of them will be able to witness what Dore will see. Moses did this to give emotional support to Dore. With his power, he did a mass trance. The trance started with a young girl in the garden picking up flowers. She was so beautiful with a smile on her lips as she smelled the roses she picks. Wait, are they seeing things? The venue was the mansion. It looked so grand and newly built. Is this really the mansion, or Moses just altered some facts? However, as per instruction from Moses, they need to keep quiet. They can reserve all their questions after the session. The young girl went inside the mansion and talked with some mestizos clad like farmers, with tabak, long, heavy, single-edged knife of Philippine origin. They were whispering. They learned the girl's name as Dolor, one of the descendants of Lucas, the people she was. Talking with were Katipuneros. Their family, in repentance to what happened to Jose and Paz, changed their ways. They become patriotic and support the needy. They were the Katipuneros' secret supporters. Dolor, although a woman, is one of the Katipuneros. "Oh, wow, I looked so beautiful," giggled Dore. "Why are they carrying tabak? Are they going to the field?" "Where are you, Emilio?" asked Dore. The Katipuneros were planning of supporting Aguinaldo up to the end. As the Americans' plan of capturing Aguinaldo is becoming intense, they need to have a plan B with a secret route towards escape. Dolor was just listening on what to do, but she is worried about Sebio. Sebio is the little boy adopted by her parents. He is from nowhere. The baby was left outside of the mansion. Dolor, upon seeing the boy, urged her parents to adopt. She promised to take care of him personally. The family, being supporter of the Katipuneros, allows Sebio to be their secret messenger. Sebio is a brave boy and Dolor loves him so much. Soon, Sebio arrives with his slingshot. He is an Indio. He looks handsome, but just like a little boy. He is dirty, as if he has been playing in the mud. He usually delivers secret messages from the headquarters to each of the group. Since the messages are always urgent, he has to run as fast as he could, stumbling in the rice field along the way. "Oh, there you are, Emilio. Why are you so dirty?" asked Dore. The group now understands. Dolor is Dore. This time she is the descendants of Lucas, while Emilio is Sebio. Chapter 29. Dolor immediately called Sebio and hugged him lovingly. The child hugged back Dolor and asked Dolor if she had eaten. The boy is more worried of Dolor than himself, when his duty is more dangerous. Dolor immediately get a basin of water to clean the boy, which the boy refused. He claimed he is a man, and he can do it himself. Everyone laughs at the boy and forgets about the seriousness of their talk, as Sebio was just 7 years old. Dolor then bring the boy inside the room to wash, while she prepares his clothes. Sebio was dashingly handsome when he comes out. "Emilio, you are so handsome. You look like a movie star on TV," exclaimed Dore. The group tried to control themselves from giggling with Dore's side comments. Inasmuch as they would like to speak as well, they just need to be silent observers. Every day, Dolor prepares Sebio's needs and his breakfast. Sebio, on the other hand, will always wake up early to help Dolor. He will also Pick up wildflowers for Dolor before he go out to snoop some news in town. He acts as spy and courier at the same time. Who would suspect a young boy? 2 years had passed. The Pact of Biaknabato failed. The Americans wants to capture Emilio Aguinaldo to control the government. The most dangerous mission now is to help Aguinaldo escape. As planned, General Del Pilar and his men will guard the secret passage, known now as Tirad Pass, to delay the American advance to ensure that President Emilio Aguinaldo and his troops escaped. Men, women, and children helps. Sebio was the first to die as he was captured by the Filipino loyalists, 2 Americans. They tried to torture the little boy to squeal what he knows and the plans of the Katipuneros. The boy insists on not knowing anything. "Oh no, don't hurt Emilio. Please no. Do won't hurt him," cried Dore. The very word Dolor must have said if she see Sebio being tortured. The boy's body was soon found in the rice field near the balate tree as warning to the Katipuneros. Dolor, learning of Sebio's tragic death, promised revenge. Like other members of the Katipuneros, she helped in delaying the Americans in their own way. Some put barricades on where the Americans are going to pass. Some lured them in a different direction, while others fight physically. She was able to hurt at least 1 American, though, before dying in their hands. It would have been a success if the villager, Januario Galat, had not led the American soldiers to the secret path. Dolor and Sebio might have been able to lift the curse if they didn't die in the hands of the traitor. I don't like this drama. Uncle Moses, please change it cartoons. I want to watch Power Pop Girls, Dore said while crying. Moses then removed the mass trance. Dore ran immediately to Emilio and requested for a snack and watch TV. Emilio held Dore lovingly. He dried her tears away and caressed her hair. He immediately lifted Dore so she can sit beside him in his wheelchair. Dore snug at Emilio like a little kitten clinging to his owner. The 2 families now fully understand why Dore is familiar with the mansion. They also confirm Dore is Cinta. Nothing must go wrong in the 7th generation, as this is the last. Now that the 3rd generation failed, they need to know the 4th. What happened in the 4th? They are almost successful in the 3rd. Chapter 30. The session ended late, so Don Luis requested for the family to sleep in the mansion. They will ask the driver to take them home early morning when they are ready. They were set up in the big guest room with a soft bed. Isco and Maria, unfortunately, wasn't able to sleep in the bed as they felt like sinking at the middle. Dore, on the other hand, don't want to sleep with them, stating that is not her room. She then went to the adjacent room, which is now being used by Emilio. "Would you mind if I sleep in here? I like to protect you from harm. I don't want those bad people to come again and put you on the tree." Dore asked Emilio, still affected by what the traitors did to Sebio. "Sure, come here." Emilio said while he lovingly helped Dore climb up his bed. He also tucked her beside him and gave her his stuffed dog to hug. Moses, as usual, vanished into thin air after the session. They were not even able to offer him food or drink. He just vanished. In reality, Moses went back to Fairly Land to regain his energy. Doing a mass trance drained him up since he is only a halfling. If the session took a longer time, he would have died. It is just that he wanted to know whether Dore is really Cinta. Besides, Dore has a special place in his heart. That is why his father gave him the permission to meddle in the mortal world. Don Luis and Dona Leonor, on the other hand, also cannot sleep. It is now confirmed that Dore is Cinta. By hook or by crook, Emilio and Dore should be together. How should be the next question. Chapter 31. Isco and Maria went home early, so as not to arouse suspicion from the neighbors. Dore was left with Emilio as she was still sleeping. She will just go with Emilio when Emilio goes to the rice field later. After eating breakfast, Dore asked Don Luis if they can move the dining table, which Don Luis gladly allowed. As the servants moved the heavy dining table, one of the flooring sprung up. Dore opened the flooring and took 2 jade pendants. She gave one to Emilio. "This is the pendant the girl in the movie last night wants to give to Sebio. It is a carving, if a bird, phoenix, and a snake, dragon, to symbolize that they will be always together. Yours will be the snake, dragon, and mine is the bird, phoenix. Dore said as she gave the dragon pendant to Emilio. Don Luis and Dona Leonor had been living in the house since Emilio was born, but they never knew that there is a secret hiding place at the base of the heavy table. Mommy Leonor, can you please put a string to our pendant so we can wear it? This will protect Emilio. Uncle Moses will put a protection spell on it to make it stronger when he comes back. Sebio and Dolor shouldn't have died if they were wearing this. Uncle Moses gave it to Dolor, but she keeps on waiting for the right time before she gives it to Sebio, explained by Dore. You mean your Uncle Moses is that old? Asked Don Luis. Yes, he's very, very old. He always comes to this world to protect me and Emilio, but always failed, as it is not time yet, said Dore. Do you know where he lives? Asked Emilio. Yes, I've been there and met his father. He is more handsome than Uncle Moses. Their house is so big with lots and lots of flowers and fruits. They are happy people. They love to sing and dance, answered Dore, giggling. More handsome than me? Asked Emilio with a hint of jealousy. Of course not. You are the most handsome guy I ever met, said Dore, still giggling. Chapter 32. Who is Moses? Asked Dona Leonor. I won't tell. No one believes me anyways, said Dore. I believe you, Emilio said immediately. Dore then whispered to Emilio, he is the son of the girl killed by the soldiers of an ugly king. His father, the Lambana king, saved the girl when she was thrown into the river. The king loves her so much that he put a spell on her so she will forget her loved ones in the mortal world. However, she died soon because she was human. Uncle Moses was their only son. The king never marries but loves me so much. He said he will give me gold if I will live with them. My family will then become rich. Really, really rich. He wants me to eat their food. Uncle Moses won't allow me saying I belong to the human world, so his father let me go. He just said, if I am in trouble, I need to call Uncle Moses, or if I call him by his name, the whole Lambana army will come. The story of the girl thrown into the river makes Emilio remember Cinta. She was killed by Datubados men and thrown into the river. Could Dore be Moses' mother? Is this the reason why Dore will always shower Uncle Moses with kisses every time she see him? She never do this with anyone, even with her parents. Is Uncle Moses in the mortal world to protect Dore? Uncle Moses said, he wants to save the girl who jumped in the church, but he was just a baby, so he can't fly. With the girl in the movie last night, he gave her a magic pendant, but wasn't used. He did try to save 3 more girls and failed. That is why he is sad, until he met my father and becomes his friend. Continued Dore. Do you know what happened to the other girls? Asked Don Luis. If they can find out the next generation, then they can save again another trance. No, those were sad movies, said Uncle Moses. I don't like sad movies like last night. He said my father will watch it with him since he loves action movies, said Dore. When is your Uncle Moses coming back? Chorused by Don Luis, Dona Leonor, and Emilio. When everyone is ready, answered Dore. Chapter 33. Don Luis drive Emilio and Dore back home, but Isco and Maria were in the rice field, together with the rest of the farmers. It will now be Ano's turn, but the merriment will still be in Isco's properties, as they have bigger backyard. Again, lots of kids are there waiting for Dore and Emilio. They are hoping Emilio will be bringing chocolates and cookies again. Those were delicious, and they can't buy it in the local Sari store. There is one boy scouting for them along the road, and he will give a loud shout to signal their arrival. Another boy is constantly listening to the land to hear the vibration of the car. Unfortunately, when Don Luis see the scout, he offered him a lift back to the barrio and thus fail his task. The boy was so happy, and seeing the car is so clean, left his slippers along the road like their custom of leaving the slippers before entering the house. They were already near Dore's house when Emilio noticed the boy has no slippers. He immediately asked his father if he can give one of his at the back of the car. The slipper wasn't expensive and a bit small, but the boy carries the slipper like a treasure. He doesn't even want to wear it in case he damage it. Other kids are so envious that Don Luis promised to buy them slippers too when he goes to town. He then asked one of the servants to get all the kids measurement and put their names on it. All the kids are so happy expecting an early Christmas present. Since Ano's rice field is smaller, they finished early and started with Yu's part. It is also small, like Ano, so again, their task was completed before the end of the day. Just like what they did the previous day, they share all the food. Women cooking, children's playing. Emilio joined the tumbang preso since he can throw slipper and move his wheelchair. He cannot be the IT as he won't be able to run after the rest of the kids. The IT, on the other hand, won't tag him when he moves, so Dore cheated a lot by hiding behind Emilio whenever they hit the can. The bigger kids doesn't mind Dore, as she was just a toddler anyways. They call her Pangolo, or Joker. Emilio had a lot of fun. He was really perspiring a lot when Don Luis and Dona Leonor arrived in the evening. He was so tired and happy. They were still playing, and since it is already dark, they decided to play Taguan, which is more appropriate. As usual, Emilio counts while they run and hide. The farmers didn't drink this time, as Bruno's plot is bigger than the rest. It will be double time the following morning. Don Luis and Dona Leonor left after eating. Emilio refuses to leave. Luckily, they have an airbed at the back of the car. Emilio and Dore will sleep in there, while Isco and Maria will be at the floor. Chapter 34. Emilio had a good sleep that night. He, however, woke up at the middle of the night. The house was so bright. He knows that Dore doesn't have electricity, but how does it become so bright? Slowly, Emilio opened his eyes and saw thousands of fireflies everywhere. 2 of the biggest often swoop down towards Dore to kiss her. This goes on and on. The fireflies sometimes will just stay in one place, as if to rest, then back to kiss Dore. Lambana King, Uncle Moses, stop kissing me. I still want to sleep. If you wake up Emilio, I won't talk with you again, warned Dore, still with her eyes closed. Emilio closed his eyes. He doesn't want to be discovered. For some unknown reason, he seemed to hear voices. They were laughing at Dore. One voice asked if she wants to go with them and play. Another voice asked if she likes to take Emilio with her. No. Emilio's tired. Let him rest. His teacher will come tomorrow. He will teach us to read and write after his class. Emilio heard Dore answering. However, Emilio won't open his eyes, as he doesn't want to disturb them. It seems Emilio is special. Do you like Emilio? What makes you like Emilio? Asked the fireflies. I don't know. I just like him. He is kind, answered Dore. We love you too, Dore, chorused the fireflies. Emilio tried to peek to ensure he wasn't dreaming. The fireflies are talking to Dore, and he can hear them. Emilio saw Dore already sitting and giggling with the fireflies' jealousy. Tell Emilio that on Tuesday, Moses is strong enough. Your father can watch the action movie with him, said the biggest firefly. Okay, but Uncle Moses, can you bring me Lily Pop next time? Please make it 2 so I can give one to Emilio. Dore told the second biggest firely, Uncle Moses. But Uncle Moses is not even there. Is Uncle Moses a firefly? So many questions pop up in Emilio's head, but he doesn't want to move. He will ask Dore in the morning later. I sure will. Do you want a particular color? Emilio heard Moses' voice, but can't see him. I want red so it will color my lips red like Lispetic said. Dore, as she cannot pronounce lipstick. And blue, please, for Emilio. He loves blue, Dore continued. Soon the cock crows for the 3rd time, and Tatai Isco woke up. All the fireflies flew away, leaving Dore with a promise to be back soon. Chapter 35. Since Emilio and Dore woke up at the middle of the night, they were so sleepy and woke up late. Tatai Isco and Nane Maria were already awake. Tatai Isco had gone to Bruno's field to finish the harvest for the year. After harvesting, drying, and removing the husk, will be the biggest merriment as the farmers can now sell their rice grain. They will have money, and then wait again for the rainy days to plant rice again. Although Emilio is aware of Dore's conversation with the fireflies, he will wait for Dore to tell it to her parents. He will keep this as his most treasured secret. The day passed by as usual, as it will take a few days to finish Bruno's plot. Emilio was picked up at night, and Dore have not said anything. He looked at Dore as if reminding her about her task. Still, Dore kept her silence. As such, Emilio thought what happened last night was just a dream. On Friday evening, the farmers are completely done. Like every Friday, they have a little merriment, but this Friday is quite special. Harvest is done! It is a whole-day celebration. Don Luis and Dona Leonor was there too since morning. It is at that time that Dore whispered to Tate Isco about the movie with Moses. Tata Isco then communicated it to Don Luis. Don Luis was so glad that he immediately told the family to have it again in their house, so they will not be disturbed. Emilio, learning about the secret conversation, confirmed it wasn't a dream. He asked Dore, how will Uncle Moses know where they will watch the movie? He is not in the session this time. He knows Moses is recuperating as his energy was used up during the last trance. He risked his life by doing a mass trance to protect Dore. This time, it will only be Tata Isco and maybe his father too, but not everyone. No worries, Uncle Moses will be wherever I am. So if we go to the mansion, he will just show up. He will be bringing lollipop for us. Please prepare some popcorn. I want the caramel one. Requested Dore, making Dona Leonor laugh. She loves Dore. If only Isco and Maria will let them have her, it will be a delight. Chapter 36. Don Luis and Dona Leonor excitedly told the old madam regarding the third-generation curse. The old madam, although has some suspicion about Dore, was still surprised when Don Luis confirmed that Dore was Cinta. The old madam immediately tasked Don Luis to ensure Dore and Emilio is protected at all times. He, however, did not inform the old madam regarding the forthcoming session the following Tuesday. On Monday evening, Dore already requested her parents that she likes to have a sleep over in the mansion. She said her Uncle Moses will just follow them on Tuesday. As long as Tata Isco and Nane Maria comes, Uncle Moses will arrive in no time. Her parents are no longer surprised about this, as they have proven everything Dore said about her Uncle Moses becomes true. It seems that Moses and Dore has a strong connection, that anything she asked to her Uncle Moses is fulfilled with no question. This year, Dore asked Uncle Moses if it is possible to have a good harvest, as she wants to have enough money so she can buy a gift for Emilio's birthday. Unlike the other neighboring rice fields, Isco's plot has almost doubled the grains. They harvested more than enough for what they usually need. On the same year, Dore told Uncle Moses to see the person who always sent her milk, vitamins and clothes. The mysterious person, family, usually use their servants to send those gifts, but never shows themselves. As such, for some unknown reason, Dore saw Emilio having a seizure near the rice field, who gets better the moment Dore touches him. Don Luis and Dona Leonor also begins to frequent their house like common folks. What is more surprising is that Dore can tell if Moses is coming or not. Many people in the barrio usually asked Moses to assist them in difficult situation. But they have to wait till Moses comes on his own. They therefore usually ask Dore, when is Moses coming, so they can prepare in advance. Dore, however, never take advantage of Moses. She never asks anything that will benefit their family. The only thing she usually asked her Uncle Moses is pasalubong. Chapter 37. Monday evening was spent by Dore and Emilio reading. Emilio has prepared a lot of children's book he will read to Dore while his little piggy eats the snacks, prepared by Dona Leonor until sleep time. Tuesday morning was spent by Emilio with his class as usual. Dore, on the other hand, watched TV by herself. This time, she doesn't need to pay her neighbor just to be able to watch outside the window. She can also change the channel if she doesn't want the show. After lunch, Tata Isco and Nane Maria came for the session. They really intended to come early, so they won't be needing to sleep in the mansion. They feel more comfortable sleeping in their own hut. At 3 p.m., Moses suddenly appears in the study room. Dore had already asked their parents to assemble as Moses is coming soon. Moses sent Maria and Dona Leonor out together with the two kids. Who would like to be the subject? Asked Moses. This session is going to be short but might be brutal, added Moses. Isco already knew that Don Luis will do the last session, so he volunteered. Don Luis was asked to take the time and wake them up if they don't come back in an hour. Moses plans to take Isco back in time during the Japanese War. He cannot do trance as he is still weak. But he can take Isco back in 1942. Isco and Moses sat in a chair and vanished. As such, Don Luis start the timer. Isco and Moses feels like the clock is turning back. Isco was so dizzy but can't complain. He woke up later with Moses on his side. They saw two kids aged 14 and 12. The boy is handsome, but very thin. The girl was very pretty too. They were working in the corn field. As they harvest the corn together with the rest of the families, a group of people came and took all the males to fight against the Japanese. They have no choice. It is either they join and be killed fighting or be killed on the spot. The boy known as Fausto is the youngest, so he was asked to carry the guns to be used by the older folk, especially his father. They are known as rebels or the Hukbalahap. Their main aim is to fight against the Japanese. The girls are left behind to work in the field so they can supply food for the Hukbalahaps. At first, everything goes smoothly until the Japanese reaches the cornfield. They begin to take women, especially the beautiful and young ones. They took them in their barracks and used as comfort women. They cook, they massage, and used to satisfy the carnal desires. Many of these women dies. Some gets crazy while the braver ones were able to survive, but suffers a lifetime of shame. One of these girls happens to be pining, Cinta's reincarnate. She is braved and have stand all the hardship in the barracks. She aimed to escape to see her family and Fausto, with the hope of seeing them still alive and well. Pining tried her best to befriend the officials. She was already able to gain their confidence when the Huks suddenly raided the barracks she was in. Chapter 38. As Pining has been living in the barracks for quite a time, she was already very familiar on all the escape route. She led the Huks in and helped some of the women to escape. Unfortunately, one of the girls named Juanita panicked and doesn't want to go. No one knows if she was scared of getting caught or afraid of losing all the benefits she was getting from the Japanese officials. She squealed on the escaping women and rebels. The Japanese caught on the escaping women and Pining could have escaped, but she saw a familiar face among the rebels. One is her own father, and the other is Fausto. Pining came back, aiming to help them escape by leading the way. Isco saw that Moses was there too. He was putting a white shield to Pining so she can go unnoticed. However, a stray bullet hit Fausto and was bleeding heavily. Pining cried in despair. This attracts the attention of the Japanese and begin firing, aimlessly hitting Pining and her father too. Her father died on the spot. But Pining was still able to reach Fausto. She tried to pull Fausto toward the safe side of the barracks while young Moses was trying to distract the attention of the Japanese. She was almost successful when Fausto releases his last breath. Pining took the gun Fausto was holding and fired at the Japanese. She was able to save Fausto's father, but she also died on the spot. Young Moses, seeing Pining dying in spite of his effort, was howling in grief. He would like to take Pining with him to fairyland, just like what his father did to his mother to save her. But he was too late. He is young and his power is not enough. Moses of the current time come near Pining and young Moses. He cried as well in grief. Isco could feel the emotion and went near the casualties. He feels the pain, as if a part of himself died too. Meanwhile, it is almost 1 hour, and Isco and Moses has not come back. Don Luis is getting anxious and worried. He was already pacing back and forth. 3 minutes left, too. "Dore, call your uncle Moses, quick," shouted Don Luis. "What happened?" Everyone answered. "Just call him quick before it is too late," yelled Don Luis. "Uncle Moses, I call upon you on this time and place," said Dore quickly. Like a bucket of water splashed on Moses. He regains consciousness and quickly took Isco back to the present time. Chapter 39. With Dore's help, Isco and Moses were able to go back in time. Both were perspiring so much and really thirsty. Time travel had drained. Their energy plus the time warp almost trapped them in the Japanese period. Should Don Luis not time them and set the alarm 5 minutes early, both time traveler will be lost forever. Isco and Moses were so glad seeing Dore. Both suddenly embraces Dore and won't let go. "Ay, ay, ay, I am so squeeze. I might not grow anymore," complained Dore. Everybody laughs at Dore's reaction when both guys hugged and embraced her tight. They were just so glad seeing Dore alive and well. "Tatai, did you fly as well like Uncle Moses? You were not here a while ago. You just pop out like him?" asked Dore. Isco just smiled at Dore as he doesn't know what to say. Moses, on the other hand, showed Dore his promised lollipop. Dore, seeing the lollipop, began dancing with joy. She immediately grabbed the lollipop and gave one to Emilio. She totally forgets what she was asking her father. Soon it was dinner time, and Moses is about to vanish again. Dore, however, was so quick, she pulled his trouser before he can go. "Don't you dare leaving again without saying goodbye," said Dore. Moses looks at Dore lovingly. He pinched her cheeks and whispered, "You know I can't eat human food just like little. Dore can't eat our food, right?" I know, but you can still stay and rest for a while before leaving," said Dore. Having said her peace of mind, Moses was forced to stay a bit longer. While everybody eats, Moses was just drinking wine. He ate some fruits and vegetables, but nothing cooked. The Lambana cannot eat anything with salt. It is poison for them. A little will make them sick and too much can kill. Pure salt can burn their skin as well. On the other hand, their food is not harmful to human, but it will make them forget and want to stay in fairyland. Dore, having been on both worlds, fully understand the process. She wouldn't ask anything that will harm Moses. She loves Moses, but not in the same way as she loves Emilio. Chapter 40. Just 2 more sessions, and they are already done, learning what had happened to Lucas and Cinta, since the harvest season is done, and Moses is a bit tired. Don Luis and Donna Leonor decided to give Dore's family a treat. They invited them to have a picnic in their resort. The resort was part natural and man-made. There is a mansion at the middle with 4 cottages surrounding the mansion. A swimming pool lies at the middle, which is made of fiberglass, so everyone can see the swimmers. A few meters away from the main house is a little lake where you can catch fish and shrimps. The river beside it also has a small waterfall where you can bath and swim. Seeing how majestic the resort is, Dore keeps on jumping up and down as she walks until she saw a young man fishing in the river. The guy in the river looks familiar. She slowly walks towards the man, but Tatai Isco immediately hold her hands. She is in an unfamiliar place. Being superstitious, Tatai Isco reminded Dore to be careful as she might attract unseen beings. The guy in the river stood up and walked near Dore. He touches her head and kisses her while giving her 3 big fish. Dore smiled at the guy and say thanks. She later on kisses the guy with reservation. "Hello, Arin King." Dore greeted the man while laughing. The guy was actually the Lambana king in human form. Dore used to tease him Arin King as he is the king. Dore then introduced him to her parents, and then to Don Luis and Donna Leonor. "This is Arin King. He is Moses' father. He is here to fish. He knows I love grilled fish the most," introduced Dore. "What, Moses' father? You must be kidding. He is younger than Moses," chorused everyone. Dore laughed at them. "He is purebred. He aged slow and never die. Uncle Moses is a halfling, so he is aging a bit faster." Chapter 41. Arin King flashes his brightest smile. He is so handsome. His hair is yellow, white-skinned, blue eyes, and 2 deep dimples on his cheek. The oohs and the ahs can be heard from the servants. "Don't you dare to bewitch my people," warned Dore. "I never intended to. There is only one girl that owns my heart," answered Arin King. "You better keep your promise, or I will never talk to you again," added Dore. Arin King laughs at Dore, but deep in his heart, he is so happy with what Dore said. Soon Moses suddenly appears, and was surprised to see his father, mingling with mortals as he seldom do. Usually he will only get near to Dore and no one else. Knowing about Arin King's true persona, Don Luis did not hesitate to ask if he knows the story of the 5th generation. Arin King put a sound shield over the ears of the servants so they won't hear the story. In the late 50s, Lucas and Cinta meets again. However, Cinta was a lot older than Lucas. She was already in her early 20s. When she met Lucas, age was not a hindrance, as the modern Cinta, known as Caring, is Lucas' teacher. Caring immediately gets so much attached with the boy and promised to take care of the boy no matter what. Lucas at that time is known as Roland. Roland is a bright boy and very handsome. He is quite popular among the girls in his class. One day, the class went to Pansol for a field trip. Like ordinary boy, Roland was lured away by the unseen towards the forest. The boy keeps on running, trying to get back to his class, but can't. He keeps on running in circles. Caring noticed that the boy is missing. She begins her frantic search. Moses found Caring crying alone in the forest, still in search for the boy. It was already getting dark. The boy needs to be found. Moses, together with Caring, tries every nook and corner, but they can't find Roland. Moses was then forced to use his power to help Caring. They found the boy being held captive by the Tikbalang. Their aim is not Roland, but Caring. They want Caring in exchange for Roland. Naturally, Moses did not agree. They tried to have a truce. Chapter 42. The Tikbalang, unfortunately, won't allow Roland to go without having Caring as his wife. Moses then have to seek the help of his father, the Lambana king. As both unseen beings are kings, they begin to fight for Caring. Caring previously, Sinta was the Lambana queen, Moses' mother. Being mortal, Lambana king let her soul go and be reincarnated as many times as necessary, so Sinta and Lucas can meet again. The king loves her deeply, but sorry he did not release Sinta immediately when she recovers. He held her as her wife. He knows Sinta will not have a good life if she will be back in the land. However, he did not expect Datu Bata will kill all members of Sinta's clan. Had he not been so busy curing Sinta, he could have protected Sinta's family. He was so guilty. He decided to search all Sinta's reincarnation and protect as long as he can. The Tikbalang, on the other hand, argue that Caring has been the Lambana's wife in the past. What's wrong with being his wife this time? It would be nicer if the Tikbalang really loves Caring, but he don't. He just want to spite the Lambana king. The war begins between the Lambana and the Tikbalangs. It was a close fight. The Lambanas are winning, but in order to protect Caring, Moses was badly wounded. Caring, having a kind of kinship feeling with Moses, run to his rescue, together with Roland. They were not able to reach. Moses, as the Water King, begins to splash a mountain-high water to stop the war and sober the warring kings. In so doing, Caring drowned while putting Roland in the high tree to survive. Roland survived. Caring died. Lambana king and Moses promised to take care of Roland. Roland grew to be a fine young man and soon marries the old madam, Emilio's grandmother. He was only able to survive because of Caring's sacrifice, but the curse continued. Chapter 43. The Lambana king finished his story regarding the 5th generation. He is both happy and sad. Happy that he can still see his beloved Sinta, but sad because Sinta has someone in her heart. He can only love Sinta from afar. Being mortal, Sinta has to suffer the cycle of life. He then looked lovingly at Dore, who was happily splashing water towards Emilio with Moses watching over her. Moses, on the other hand, was introduced to Paz. In the 2nd generation Sinta, most of the time, Lambana king will show himself towards Paz holding baby Moses in his hands. Paz adores baby Moses and always wished that if ever she and Jose gets married, she likes to have a baby as handsome as Moses. She never learns, however, the true persona of Moses. Moses appears again to Dolor in Sinta's 3rd life. Moses, by that time, is already a big boy. He knows that Dolor chose a dangerous life. That is why he gave an amulet. Dolor, however, thinks the amulet is too precious and might get lost. Kept it under the floor of the old mansion. Moses was already a teenager when Sinta appears again in World War II. He tried to save, pining many times, but his power is still weak. He is not of age yet, and thus failed to save her. As Caring, Moses decided not to show himself so as not to affect the mortal world. He is still in his late teens and gets badly wounded in the fight between the Lambana and the Tikbalang while saving Caring and Roland. And Dore. Dore is Isco's daughter, and he happens to be Moses' only friend. Uwin, Isco's mother, was found by the Lambana in the forest. Some heartless person left her to die. Since she was adopted by the Lambana, the king opened her 3rd eye, which was later on passed to Isco. When Maria was pregnant with Dore, Some Aswang frequented their place, making Moses their protector. As a baby, Dore can see Moses and all the unseen being. From time to time, Moses will take her to fairyland when Isco and Maria are busy. He will let the Lambana play with her while he helps Isco and Maria. He, however, cannot confirm if Dore was Sinta. The only thing he knows is that he feels a certain closeness with the child. The Lambana king and Moses, of course, knows what happened in the 6th generation, but they want Don Luis to fully understand how he survived when Dona Leonor is not Sinta. Chapter 44. The picnic was so much fun, Emilio and Dore does not want to go home. As such, since the resort was owned by Don Luis, they stayed overnight. They did a campfire at night. Emilio and Dore grilled a lot of s'mores and hot dog. The day was so special for Dore, as she has all the people she loves, including Moses and Reincarnated. Soon all of them went inside the mansion to pavilion. All servants were sent to nearby cottages to sleep while the group will undergo the last session. Emilio and Dore say in the circle too, but very sleepy. Each of them were being held by their mothers. Don Luis sits at the middle, Lambana King and Moses beside him while Isco was on standby. King pointed his forefinger at Don Luis' forehead. Don Luis suddenly feels sleepy and tired. It is as if his body is so heavy he can't even lift his fingers. Then he feels his body becomes lighter and lighter, as if he is floating in the air. He saw his father Roland being saved by a beautiful girl. She lifted him up the tree, together with wounded Moses. The girl was soon swept by the tidal wave created by the Water King. Many Tikbalangs drown, and some Lambanas and Dewatas. Nobody wins the war. The girl was Coring, Roland's teacher, another reincarnate of Sinta. Roland survived because of the sacrifice of Coring. Roland grew to be a fine young man and marries the old madam. He, however, dies when the old madam gets pregnant. No one knows why he suddenly dies. Some says he got sick. Some says the curse kicked in late. Old madam gets pregnant with twins. Both babies are healthy. However, since both babies are boys, one of the babies should die. The curse state that boys will die before reaching the age of 10, not unless they find Sinta again. One of the boys is Lucas Incarnate. While inside the womb, a supreme being asks the boys if they want to survive and both dies before age 10 if Sinta is not found, or one lives to father the future Lucas. Lucas Incarnate decided to let Luis live while he waits for the future Sinta. Chapter 45. Meanwhile, Coring's Incarnate actually was born a year after Coring's death. She was so beautiful, pale skin and blue eyes. Her parents live in the mountain and have not seen such a beautiful baby. They got scared thinking that she could be a Dewata. In fear, they left her in the forest. The Lambana found her. She was taken care of by both the Lambana and the Dewata. King opened her third eye so she can see all the unseen. The girl was called Uwin. Roland did not meet Uwin as she lives in the mountain. Just like Roland, Uwin also gets married to Eno. They have an only son, Isco, who becomes Dorai's father. Uwin was quite famous in the barrio as an albulario. Since she grew up with the Lambana and the Dewata, all Encantos respect and adore her. As such, she can easily send away bad spirits. She can cure the sick faster than the specialist. She can foretell the future and see the past. She, however, suddenly dies when Maria gets pregnant with Dore. Don Luis, having heard of Uwin, bought a house in the barrio so she can cure Emilio. It took him some time to find her. When they found Uwin, it was already too late as Uwin is already dying. Don Luis and Dona Leonor, however, decided to stay in the barrio. Uwin, being adopted by the Encantos, becomes Moses' adopted sister. However, Reincarnated and Moses knows she is Sinta's incarnate. That is why both love her the most. Moses also treated Isco as his own brother, being the son of Uwin. Roland is dead and Uwin is dying. Reincarnated knows that if they save Uwin, they will disrupt the cycle of life again. Dore has to be born to end the curse. This is the main reason why Moses responds to Dore's every call. Even the king cannot refuse Dore. For Moses, she is his mother. For the king, she is his wife. Dore, still half asleep, heard about this and suddenly speaks. I don't want to marry Reincarnated King. You are too old. I only want Emilio. Lambana King was hurt of Dore's comment, but he already accepted Cinta as mortal. She will die and live again. Since he is immortal, his punishment for meddling in human affairs when he saved Cinta was to witness the life cycle of Cinta until the Supreme Being finally takes his life. Chapter 46. It is now clear that the sixth generation was the unborn Lucas and Ewan. Both sacrifices their life to clear the way to Emilio and Dore. It is time for Don Luis now to wake up. Everybody understands the life cycle of Lucas and Cinta, including their hardship, and the undying love that was never fulfilled, and the love of the Lambani King that is not meant to be. With tears in his eyes, Lambana King flicked his fingers, and Don Luis woke up. He was crying. He immediately embraces Emilio and lovingly kissed the sleeping Dore. Dore woke up. "Where's Emilio?" "I am hungry." "Emilio, I am here, my little piggy. What do you want to eat?" Lambana King and Moses has already prepared fruits for Dore. It was mangoes and lanzones, which were Dore's favorite. Yummy Dore immediately spring up and begin peeling the mangoes. Lambana King, on the other hand, were removing the skin of the lanzones. Both father and son feeds Dore like a princess. Everybody looks at each other as they know those fruits are not in season. Where did it came from? Does these two has an inner motive to take Dore away? Lambana King, having read their thoughts, just smiled and said, "Don't worry. We will not be taking Dore away. These fruits are not from fairyland. They are from another country which we had prepared in advance." Dore gave some fruits to Emilio. Soon more fruits just appears for everyone to share. They have everyone's fill before they go to sleep. Chapter 47. While Dore and the rest were happily eating, Lambana King and Moses kiss her goodbye with a promise to be back soon. There were tears in their eyes. From their look, it is as if this will be their last goodbye. Both then vanished in thin air, having said so. Morning comes and the kids are hungry again. However, both wants to swim and eat. As such, they decided to eat beside the pool. They want to avoid the river and the lake in fear of attracting another Encanto, especially Moses, and King is not there. While they were enjoying the picnic, little did they know that Moses and King will be facing tribulation. For revealing the 6 lives of Cinta and Lucas, Moses will be struck with lightning 50 times, while King for 100 times. If both survived, they can perform the last rite to save Dore and Emilio. All the Lambanas and the Diwatas are crying. King is a good king, and Moses had done so many good deeds for them all. He helped unite both worlds. At the specified time, both Moses and King climbed the tall mountain. They were chained between rocks to suffer their tribulation. The first strike came. It was painful, almost unbearable. Second strike. Third. Every strike pierces their skin, burning their flesh. However, they must endure for Dore's sake. Their love for Dore is far greater than their life. Moses finished his first as his was just 50. He survived. He, however, is so weak he can't even stand when the chain has been removed. The Lambanas carry him back in the palace while the Diwatas prepare his bath and herbs. Chapter 48. King also survived, but hardly recognizable. His body is totally burned. His skin smelled like burning flesh. Multiple open wounds shows, and he was oozing with blood. It was too much to look at. The Diwata queen was crying. She offered to take half of King tribulation, but he refused. She loved King from beginning to end. It is just so sad that his heart only belongs to Cinta. Soon father and son recovered. The wounds have healed, but not the scars. They need to look good in front of Dore. They don't want Dore to worry. They can show themselves as Firefly, but they won't be able to do the right to save Dore and Emilio. They missed Dore. Only a few weeks left, and it is already Emilio's 10th birthday. Everybody's already worried. Emilio's fever is on and off. He feels terrible. He can no longer stand. Dore, on the other hand, never leaves Emilio. In her young age, she's always there taking care of him. She gives him water when he is thirsty and feed him when he is hungry. Shash likes to call Moses and King for help, but the Diwata told Dore that they were sick too. In fact, Dore already felt something is wrong with the two during their tribulation. She just suddenly cries for no reason. At that time, Emilio noticed the sadness in Dore's eyes. "What is wrong? Is anything hurting?" asked Emilio. "I don't know. I just feel sad. It feels like thousands of needles poking my heart," said Dore. In reality, for every lightning that strikes, Moses and Aaron King Dore feels it too in her little heart. She was so worried but can't show it to anyone. She called Lakambini, the Dewata queen, but she refused to tell the truth. She made a promise to Aaron King not to tell Dore, as she might go and see them. They will not be able to stand Dore crying and not finish the tribulation in so doing. She would like to go to fairyland, but she also do not want to leave Emilio. She can go there any time, as she knows the magic word to open the portal. However, Emilio is sick and can't stand. How can she carry him? They will see you again once they recover. You don't need to worry. I am taking good care of them, said Lakambini. This put Dore's heart at ease. Chapter 49. It is now Christmas Eve, just a few days before Emilio's birthday. Emilio can no longer open his eyes. He can't eat too, so a dextrose was placed on his arm. Donna Leonor and Dore keeps on crying day and night. Emilio is now too weak. Dore have no choice. She is going to call all the Lambana and even the Dewata at night. Emilio must be saved no matter what. On the other hand, both Moses and Aaron King is already getting ready to see Dore and Emilio. They are not strong enough, so they requested the help of Lakambini and the rest of their clans. Mass was already said in the mansion for Emilio, as he wanted to attend the Mass. He remembers seeing Dore as a baby, and she already stole his heart. Everybody was crying, thinking it will his last day already. Dore was beside him, holding his hand, crying. From time to time, she will kiss Emilio to give him strength. Then, everything becomes so bright. Are the angels here to take Emilio? No, please don't. He is too young, cried Dore. The Lambanas and the Dewatas actually came to perform the last rite to save both kids. They hear beautiful melody that they have never heard before. It was Aaron King singing, accompanied by Lakambini with her harp. The blinding lights were from the fireflies. They will lend their energy to Emilio to complete the process. Seeing Aaron King, Dore immediately clapped her hand happily. She knew Emilio is safe. What to do? What to do? Quick, Emilio is very weak. We need to do caroling. There is also a lot of food, all his favorite, but he can't eat, said Dore excitedly. Chapter 50. What will be my reward if I cure Emilio? Asked Aaron King. I don't have money, but I can give you a kiss. Dore said, Fine then, but it must be thousands of kisses. Said Aaron King. Should have my fair share too, said Moses. Fine then, but be quick. It is almost Noche Buena already, urged Dore. Aaron King, Moses, Lakambini, and the rest of the fireflies went near Emilio. The fireflies flew near Emilio one by one, and Don Luis can see that the brightness of their tail decreases. Each firefly do the same and leave before their light extinguishes. What are they doing? Asked Donna Leonor. They are sharing their energy to Emilio, said Dore. Soon Emilio has gained enough energy to sit on his bed. He immediately smiled at Dore and kissed her. He also gave thanks to the Lambanas and Dewatas. It is not over yet, Emilio. We need to bind your soul with Dore. Are you willing? Asked Aaron King. Yes, I do, answered Emilio. And you, Dore, are you willing? Asked again by Aaron King. Yes. No matter how many times you will ask, my answer is always yes, said Dore. Chapter 51. The atmosphere becomes light. It is as if the spirit of Christmas has entered their heart. It is now full of hope. Oh well, since you said yes to all of my question, then I will ask you to marry me, said Aaron King jokingly. No, all of my yes is only for Emilio, said Dore already, in tears, knowing that her previous answer can be taken seriously by Aaron King. Everybody laughs at Dore until she begins crying. Aaron King immediately went near Dore to appease her. Stop crying. I am just joking. You know I won't do that, right? Said Aaron King. Got ya, said Dore laughing. She then kissed Aaron King and whispered, You know I love Emilio the most, and you are no match, don't you? Okay, I lost to Emilio. Let us now begin the session, said Aaron King. before I change my mind and snatch you away from Emilio." King, Moses, and Lacambini then begin to draw a circle in Emilio's bed. Soon they added a pentacle. They asked the two kids to sit at the middle of the pentacles, and each family member to hold a candle. Don Luis was standing on top of the headboard, Donna Leonor and Mario on both sides, and Isco at the bottom. One person is needed, but it must be a family member. Moses then remembers that he is also Cinta's son, so he took a candle and stand opposite Isco. "By the power vested in me by the universe, I call upon all the positive energies in this time and place," said King, then created a sigil sign over Emilio and Dory. "I bind the soul of these two kids, for better or for worse, to love and cherish one another, in sickness and in health, in richness or in poorer. Till death do they part." He created 2 more sigil sign, only them knows. Lacambini came next and do another sigil. They alternately do the sigil until it reaches 8 before they stop. King was so tired as he has not fully recovered. He just slump on the floor. As he do, the wound and the scars on his arms and back shows. Dore shouted in despair, "Why didn't you tell me you were hurt? Who did this to you? I will surely whip him." Chapter 52. Everybody was silent, seeing King's wounds and scars. They also see Moses has the same. They looked at Lacambini, and without saying a word, they learned what the two suffers for Dorai and Emilio through telepathy. If the father and son suffered tribulation, what did Lacambini sacrifices? Lacambini sweetly smiled and said, "My life depends on the two lovers." After the soul binding, Emilio begins to recover his health. His color changed from pale to pink. He also feels strength on his legs, and slowly like a miracle, the muscles on his legs begins to grow. He tried to stand and begin walking. Emilio can walk. "We can play tag," shouted Dore. Dore was so happy she began singing and dancing the whole night. It was an unforgettable Christmas. The 3 families are together, including all the Lambana and Dewata. As per Dore's instruction, they prepared natural honey for the Encantos, while they feast with lechon, barbecue, spaghetti, and bread. The mansion was filled with music, in which the Dewata are really good at. Moses, King, and Dore even have a dance showdown, making everybody laughs, as King is not familiar with modern dance. Truth to be told, Emilio and Dore, although binded, has to withstand the test. If time like any married couple, Emilio has to go and study in Manila or abroad and come back to Dore when she reaches 21. If both kids still love each other, formal church wedding can be done. If not, Lacambini will die as she sacrifices her life for Emilio's legs. Both families were made aware of this last test, but not the kids so as not to defy the odds. New Year was also fun. It was held in Isco's backyard. All the neighbors were happy to see Don Luis' family joining them for New Year. Don Luis brought lechon and lechon baca and several cases of beers and soda. The neighbors brought kakainin, or native desserts. Some brought chicken, duck, goat, whichever is available. The kids as usual enjoys playing. This time is different though, as Emilio is now physically joining them. No more cheating for Dore, as she can no longer hide in Emilio's wheelchair. Everybody now has to do the air own counting, as Emilio have already taught them to count. Like last Christmas, King, Moses, and Lacambini joined the fun. This time, King wasn't introduced as Moses' father, but his younger brother. Lacambini was introduced as King's girlfriend, making Dore pout her lips. She immediately whispered to King, "Why is she your girlfriend? Isn't it you only love me?" Dore said with a hint of jealousy. King happily teased Dore, "You are already married to Emilio?" Chapter 53. Several months had passed, and it now time for Emilio to go. He has to study abroad to be far away from Dore. If Dore reaches the age of 21, they can get married and live a happy life. If they found someone else prior to that, both kids are still safe as the curse had in, but Lacambini will die as she exchanged her life for Emilio's legs on the premise that theirs is a love that will last forever. While Emilio was away, Dore led a normal life in the barrio. She goes to school first in the barrio until she finished high school. Upon reaching college, Don Luis and Dona Leonor sponsored her college degree in Manila. She'd just go home once a month to see her parents. As per agreement, there shouldn't be any communication between the two. As such, Emilio cannot send any letter to Dore, not even a card during special occasion. While Emilio studies in abroad, he has to keep himself busy to forget Dore. He works all kinds of odd jobs while studying. He aims to give Dore a beautiful doll when he comes back. Years passed by quick. Dore graduated in college and had come back in the province. She plans to teach in the local school. After her interview, she saw her father in the rice field. He was teaching a young man to plow the field. The young man was so clumsy he fell on his face. Dore can't control her laughter. The guy looked at Dore with a warning, as if to say, "Don't you dare to laugh." The young man was handsome, although his face was covered with mud. Dore, being loyal to Emilio, did not even bother to look at the young man carefully. She already heard from young girls that a handsome guy just came to learn about farming. His name is Milo. He is from out of town. After working in the field, Tatay Isco brought the young man to their house to wash. Milo was very handsome with six-pack abs. Every woman will desire to have Milo as boyfriend. Girls came flocking to their house, too, to see Milo. Dore, on the other hand, had a quick glance with Milo and suddenly kissed him. Without the mud on his face, Dore recognized Milo to be Emilio. He is back. Emilio lovingly embraces Dore while kissing her hair. "I am back to fulfill my promise. Will you marry me?" asks Emilio. King and Moses then suddenly appears. "Aren't you going to ask our permission first if we will allow?" Ask the father and son. "Wait, I am the father. Why would Emilio ask you guys? I should be the one to give them my blessing," complained Isco. Lacambini came and kissed King. They are now husband and wife. Lacambini is now heavy with their firstborn. Finally, King finds closure with his unrequited love. But he will always be at Dore's command. And Moses is now happy as he also found the girl of his dream. After the curse on Emilio was lifted, Moses finds some time to seek for his own happiness. Keep your finger crossed. It might be a triple wedding.